So I want to start today and really going through, we had a little conversation with Dion before about your why. And I'm actually going to put my wife on the spot here. So my why is my wife, Ann Souza, and my little baby, Olivia here. And this is a picture that we took earlier in the week is at the Twin Falls waterfalls here in beautiful Maui. So if you have a chance, especially like when you go to all these resorts, you want to get off premises as much as possible. So I want to say to my wife, stand up for a moment, because you are my why. And you look at it, everybody, you want to think about, I mean, what is your why? Why are you here? I mean, it's a beautiful day outside. We could all be at the beach, right? We could all sit here and be sunning and swimming and going down the water slides. But we're here today with everybody in this room. Why? Because we want to go to the next level. And how do we go to the next level? I mean, that's the curious thing. I mean, I've been very fortunate, but life wasn't always butterflies and sunshine. Is that you have a situation wherein life is not always easy. And when you look at when life is not always easy, how do you react to that? Because how you react to that really shows your testament to who you are, your fortitude, your perseverance. And when you look at like what I did and what I really began to do is creating Social Media Marketing University. Social Media Marketing University is the largest social media and training company in the world. We've trained over 125,000 people since 2009, and to say the least, I mean, we started this very, very early. But you say, how did I go from investment banking to creating a social media company? I mean, life wasn't easy, as I said. I mean, my first job was out of college, making $19,126. I mean, who here ever had a salary of less than $20,000 a year? All right, I got some friends in the audience. But you start off, and that's the first step. But I can tell you, when I sat here and got that $19,000, $126 offer letter, I thought I was the richest person in the world. I thought I was on my way. I was working in New York City. I was taking the train. I was getting my suit on, my cufflinks, and I was playing the part because I know where I wanted to end up. And you're all here because you know where you want to end up. And what I did, and I really took from the investment banking background, why was I so successful? Was it because I was better than everybody else? No, not really. Is that you get to the point of, are you more strategic? Can you outmaneuver everybody else? Can you outwin? Can you win more often? I was better than everybody else because I leveraged my time. I always had something, our mandate was 4 meetings a day. So if you do 4 meetings a day, how many people do you see? 4 people. So what I did a group breakfast. I did a group lunch at 11 o'clock. I did a group lunch at 1 o'clock. And I did an end of the day big hitter meeting. I saw 20 to 25 people a day. Was I smarter? I guess I was, because I was using my time in a much more advantageous way. I outworked everybody else. So you look at the transition to social media. What do you have? When Jason goes ahead and he posts something on Instagram, how many people see it? That's leverage. When Kiara posts something on Facebook, how many people see it? That's leverage. So it's one to many. And that's really what I saw early on in the social media field, because what my passion is helping companies build, grow, and scale. I tend to be fairly good at it. I built 7, 8, 9, 10-figure businesses and help build those businesses. And my goal is always in those businesses to get to a point that they're leveraging them so other people want to either invest in your business or they want to buy your business. It's very fortunate, even when I was at Necker Island a few weeks ago with Richard Branson, the story that, Barack Obama was there and he was at Mosquito Island. Horrible, horrible name for an island. I mean, you can't figure out a worse name for an island than Mosquito Island. But there's this little tiny city, island, about an hour and a half off of Necker Island called Anegada. So we're all there for lunch, and there were some whispers that, hey, we're gonna have a special guest for lunch. Helicopter lands, we're like, all right, what's going on? Secret Service get off. Then a few minutes later, another helicopter lands. Well, President Obama gets off with Richard Branson. I mean, talk about a cool thing. We're sitting here an hour and a half into the ocean, this little tiny island that has 1,000 inhabitants, but who's gonna go ahead and meet us and join us for lunch is President Obama. So you go back to what some of the other speakers said, your network is your net worth. How broad can you go? How many followers can you have? How many friends do you have? That's really what's critical going forward in this day and age, because who you surround yourself is who you become. And like I said, I started off making my $19,126. You know, my father didn't have any background in investment banking. He worked for a textiles company. You know, my mother was a fashion designer. But I knew where I wanted to be. I saw the movie Wall Street, and that was it. I mean, I was hooked from day one. So when you sit here and you look at Social Media Marketing University, the leverage that I thought we could do from Social Media Marketing University was simply because we can leverage that, but I could help companies across the globe build, grow, and scale through leads, branding, and revenue. Because that's what all of you are here to do. Brand yourself, create leads, create revenue, right? That's it. Who here wants to create revenue? And how do you do that? Leads, right? You want to make more leads. So what I am going to bring up in a little bit at the end of this presentation is David Schloss, who's going to talk about using Facebook completely customized for digital altitude. So do not miss this into this presentation, because that's going to be absolutely critical going forward for everybody in the room. So what we really want to look at is, how do we really get there? What takes us there? That's an early ambition. Who here had big dreams when they were a child? Big, big dreams, right? Doctor, lawyer, policeman, fireman, nurse, big dreams. But sometimes along the way, things don't really happen the way we plan to, right? Crap happens. People get sick, you lose your job. I mean, back in like 2007, I was collecting houses like Monopoly houses. I thought I was the richest person in the world because I kept on buying houses. Sight unseen. Talk about some stupid crap to do from a former investment banker. Start buying houses sight unseen for a lot of money. But the market only has one side, right? Yeah, we kind of learned that doesn't really work. Because then you get stuck in a really hole in the ground and you try to climb out of it. Because sometimes, has anybody here ever sat here at a point that you really feel trapped? You get to the point in your life that, you feel like there's no bottom, you feel like your next bet is, and Michael said it before, is that how many people are here that sat here and spent some of their last monies on Rise and now are super duper successful? A lot of those people in the front row here are unbelievably successful, and they took a chance. Everybody's here because you paid to be here. You're not outside enjoying this beautiful weather, because God knows you don't want to listen to me. But you're here because you don't want to sit here, you don't want to go 50 miles an hour, right? Who the hell wants to go 50 miles an hour? Come on, Jason just bought a car that goes 200. I have a car that goes 200. Not that we really need it, but you never know. When you sit here and hit your gas going onto the highway, it's really cool to get that little rush of feeling for that 2.5 seconds that you could actually do it less than 100 miles an hour. But going forward, you don't want to sit here and feel trapped. This is what you want to avoid in life. This trap feeling. So how do you do that? You want to sit here and manage exactly what you're doing, because what do you want to do? You all want to figure out why you're here. You want to figure out to get into fast lane, right? Who here wants to know how to get in the fast lane? Everybody? Exactly. That's what you're here for. You're here to get in the fast lane because you want to understand what does it take. Why do you go ahead and you listen to people and you want to model and mimic and mime what they're doing? Because what they're doing is a recipe. When you sit here and you could meet with Paulo and you say, what are you doing online? Because it's a recipe. It's like rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's not rocket science. It's a recipe. All of you here are able to be great and create greatness in your lives. And when you create greatness in your lives, you create greatness for your families. Because when you sit here and you look at it, what is your why? Your why may be your family. Your why may be money. But your money is a very hollow why. Because you have to look at what are you doing with that money? You're creating security, right? You're creating safety. You're looking at education. You may be creating scholarships. So I do challenge everybody here, when you're making a lot of money and you can buy all the nice cars, sit here and do your part also and be charitable. Help people that are less fortunate, whether you're mentoring them or even donating to charity, helping groups that are, run into things. There's a lot of battered women's shelters where you can go ahead and help out getting people back on the right path. Because sometimes the holes in the ground are not ones you create. They're created for you. But the key here, and one of the things that we're going to talk about, especially with David coming up, is one of the keys to all social media, especially Facebook, because we're looking at is proper utilization of strategies in Facebook ads. Because what I want to really talk about and really sit here and go through is, 5 steps to social media strategy. First thing is creating a strategy. If you don't have a strategy, it's like if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Very, very simple. If you sit here and you don't have a point of what you're doing, it's just not going to work. Everybody here, especially everybody in the front row, can tell you. Alfredo's here, he's joking and jovial, but I can tell you right on, him and his wife are dialed in. They may be joking and jovial, but the bottom line, they're going back and they're taking notes and they know exactly what the hell they're doing. Every step of the way, dialed in. So sit here and you want to go ahead and learn from everybody in the room because you want to establish that presence. Everybody here that's successful, you see on a leaderboard, Michael keeps on posting, so-and-so sale, so-and-so has another sale. They established their presence and they've done it, and the people that are on the leaderboard have done it to perfection. And you know what? The people that are doing it to perfection are always tweaking what they do. It's never good enough, and it should never be good enough for you because the changes that you can make for you and your family are substantial. So what you want to do, once you go ahead and establish your presence, you want to expand your reach. Because the goal here, and I'm sure you can say anybody here, you want to make more money. You want to get more leads, right? No one's here to sit here and say, I'm okay, I made 6 figures, I'm good. You want to shoot for 7. You want to be in the front row, right? You want to be on stage and Michael saying how great you're doing, right? Because that feels good. Because how you feel is really going to be conducive with how you go ahead and really resonate with your audience. It's really, really key to go ahead and do that. I've been very fortunate in my life to be surrounded with mentors. I'm very humbled to have Richard Branson as a mentor of mine. I'm very lucky. But I made that shit happen. No one gave that to me. I knew what I wanted. And it's not like I said, hey, Richard, can I be, that doesn't work that way. You put yourself in positions to be successful. And that's always the thing in life. You're here, why? Because you want to be successful. And you want to nurture your relationships. Because when you're around people, longer and longer, what are you doing? You're building, you're nurturing those relationships. You can see at the end of the day, what is at the end of that tunnel. And there's light at the end of that tunnel. Sometimes it's darkness. Kind of sucks. Sometimes you feel alone, right? I can tell you when I was climbing the ladder, it was hard. Not every day was good. Trudging into New York City every day, sitting here making $19,000. Sometimes you're like, oh my God, please. And the subway's like 115 degrees. I'm in a suit. I got cufflinks on. I'm sweating through my suit. This stuff is not fun. But what's not fun, but what's really fun is being here with a group of people that everybody wants people to succeed. So everybody always asks me on the side, why are you here? Why are you working with Digital Altitude? What made you come here? The team. You guys are extremely fortunate. I've worked with hundreds of high quality startups, high fast growth startups around the world, doing amazing, amazing things. What it always comes down to is who is the team. You have the team led by Michael that is an absolutely amazing team. Honest, trustworthy, high integrity. That's rare, especially in this space. It just doesn't happen. Most people are sitting here counting dollars and figuring out how quickly they can go ahead and close somebody, not help them. That's a rarity that you guys have that no one else does, is have a high quality team behind you. Because when you have a high quality team, no matter what kind of pitfalls are in front of you, what are you going to do? You're going to overcome. Because life is not like this. There's peaks and valleys. It's like success. Success isn't a straight line. Success is like this, and then like this, then you're like, holy crap, then you fall off, and then you jump back up, right? That's just success. It's like an overnight success is many years in the making, because then you're there, and then you're like the guys in the front row. What's your goal? Maintain and build. So the last thing you want to do in your secrets is maintain and build. And how do you do that? When you look at the recipe of what all these guys are doing, why are they successful? You sit here and you get to the point of what they're doing is choosing content that resonates with their audience, right? Jason, isn't that what the key is? Getting as many likes, Alfredo, isn't that what it is? That's it. Whatever it is, what is that recipe? How do you go ahead and dial it in? And then when you're sitting here and you put out this thing, has anybody put out a post and you're like, holy crap, I got 400 likes, I got 4,000, I got this. And then you put out another post that you're like, this post is gonna kick ass. And then you're sitting here like, 20 likes. You're like, damn, that sucks. I gotta hide this. People are gonna think I'm a loser now. It's like, you never know, because you want to build the client base, because it's the law of attraction. If you're sitting here and you're happy and you're projecting a great presence, you sit here and people want to go ahead and they want to be attracted to you. That's how it is. People love success, the law of attraction. That's why everybody's here. That's why people become successful. Because when you look at Facebook, 93% of all marketers use Facebook. Why? Because it's pretty damn easy to find your target audience, right? You're looking at, it's the 800-pound gorilla. I mean, you look at just the sheer numbers of Facebook are amazing because you look at 1.6 billion impressions. 25 to 45-year-old age group, there is not a better way to hit them. 50 million small businesses on the platform. It's absolutely amazing. But then you have, the twin gorilla sister, Instagram. I mean, a lot of people have that dialed in. But someone asked me before is that, what social media platforms do I recommend? Which ones resonate to you? Which ones are natural to you? That's the ones I would recommend. I'm not saying that you don't need to go ahead and have all of them, because that's always beneficial and cross-pollination, but do the one that actually is you, that becomes authentic to what you're doing. I mean, Instagram is absolutely terrific, but if that's not you, maybe Facebook is. That's where the real you comes out. Because you heard Deanna Michaels, it goes back to authenticity. I mean, people always go, well, you retired at the age of 30. Well, I left out a little bit of a story. Well, I retired at the age of 30 because I was sitting here, I was a senior VP, Bank of America Capital Management Group, running the entire Southeast. It's a pretty big job for a 30-year-old. But, sitting here making the most money I ever made. Back in 2000, I was making over $1 million a year. Pretty good, right? I was the most unhappy I ever was. Why? Because I didn't like the team I was on. Still making tons of money. And then a little thing called 9/11 happened. Lost a whole bunch of my friends. So once that day happened to me, that was a complete change in my life. I no longer cared about talking about millions and billions every day. Had no interest in me at all. I was very fortunate because I had the ability to go ahead and be an entrepreneur because I felt trapped. I was an investment banker, but people they want my life, and I'm like, I want yours. Because I want to go out and be free because, when you're working for the man, it doesn't make a difference how much you make. You're still working for the man. So what you want to sit here and look at, like Facebook, is that if you're running as fast as you can in Facebook, what happens? Sometimes you run too fast. You can't outrun the cops on Facebook, right? Doesn't work. Has anybody here had a Facebook account shut down by raise of hands? That's a decent amount of people that had a Facebook account shut down, right? Because you tried to outrun the cops and you didn't know exactly what you were doing, right? You didn't know what the guidelines were. You tried to push the envelope a little too much. So that's what the key is. How do you go ahead and push it as far as you can without sitting here and getting to the point? Because Facebook is absolutely wonderful because you can go ahead and connect directly with your audience. And this really holds true on every platform out there. You could build, unbelievably strong relationships because when you build it, that's where all the leads come. That's where all the revenue comes. You can position yourself as a thought leader, generate those leads and sales. Because at the end of the day, that's what we care about. Because if not, you're going to run into the cops. And that would really suck if everything you built went away when you logged in tomorrow, right? Just think about that. You need help. And one of the things that I was challenged with a few months ago is, I run the largest social media training company in the world. Big deal. How do we go ahead and create something, which we haven't done, that's customized to DA? And how do we help you not outrun the cops, but do it in a way that you're smart and you're doing it the right way? So you're building upon it. So it's what they call sustainable. Because everybody here wants a sustainable business, right? You don't want to go ahead and go like this. Because what do you see? Everybody here, this is probably not their first direct sales organization. And what do you see? Crash and burn, crash and burn, crash and burn. So at what point do we learn? At what point do we sit here and say, we don't want to go ahead and do this anymore? Because the key is going ahead. I love going 130. It's like my little baby's like going to be 4 next week. And she's like, Daddy, go faster. And she's like, Daddy drives a rocket ship. I'm like, shh. Like, Mommy, Daddy drives. I'm like, don't quiet. Only on on-ramps. Only on on-ramps. I like getting on the highway. They're like, oh, thank you. Feel good. But but that's what it is. We want to teach you and give you the ability to go ahead and run as fast as you can without getting in trouble.